Hey everybody, hope you're having a good Monday. Things are actually not a bad day. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon here in Youngsville, North Carolina. So, kind of doing a little mini review here. Hottie's got her back's acting up and her fibro and whatnot, so she's relaxinating. I'm out here. Ugh, I know it's horrible. It sucks to be me. Fresh sugar and peanut butter cookies right out of the oven, made by Morgan, who's Heather's daughter, one of her daughters. Thanks to Morgan. And my whiskey, because hey, it's 4:30. Had a lot of bills this month. Well, bills that they kind of pop up, like large deductibles on insurance, stuff like that. So I had to go out and get the lower price point. This is R&R, which actually it's just a blended whiskey, but it's not a bad taste. It's a little bit sweeter. It's kind of like well, it's not like any of the good blended ones, but this is not bad for, for half gallon you get it for like, I don't know, not a whole lot. Kind of in the shade a little bit here, but over there's a lot of glare and don't need that. So today I'm going to be smoking, first time smoking one of these. It's the CAO MX2. It's, I don't know anything about it. Apparently it's got two wrappers. It's a 5x52. Apparently it's got two wrappers. Let's look at the cap. It looks like just a double cap on there. So apparently it's got a Connecticut broadleaf Maduro wrap on the outside and a Brazilian Maduro second wrapper. And the wrapper is actually pretty nice. It's got the some veins in it. It's a little rugged. I won't say it's a rough wrapper, but it's just kind of a rugged wrapper. You can see it's not like perfectly round or anything, which I kind of like. Gives cigars character. And there doesn't seem to be any soft spots in it anywhere. Seems to be actually pretty good. It's got some good weight to it for a 5x52 Robusto. The color is, I'm not going to say it's really dark and oily. It's got kind of a matte finish to it, M-A-T-T-E. And it's not really oily or anything. It's kind of a darker shade of brown, but it's not really dark, like black or anything, like a really dark Maduro. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. And it's got the Nicaraguan, Honduran, Peru, and Dominican Republic fillers in it, which are, the full leaf fillers. So I'm looking forward to it. I kind of like that label. It's kind of split like that. I don't know, it's just kind of, it's different. It's kind of cool. It's not overwhelming and lots of stuff on there. It just got that thing. Ergo, stuff and thing. So I'm going to cut it because I don't have a V cut. I lifted up my son's and I said, hey, go ahead and keep this thing. And I'll get another one because he smokes cigars too. It's kind of for a CAO, that cap is kind of different. So it's got the dual cap, but we'll see how it hangs on there. So I don't like straight cuts. I used to really do punch, but then I would kind of tear the end up. I'd have to soak it a little bit, or get it all slobbery and let it soften up. The V cuts I really like. The end cuts, if you do a straight cut, don't go down. Don't do that. I've done it accidentally in the past, and I'm very careful. I kind of use this one of my fingers as a guide so it doesn't go down there too far. And just barely kind of. Let's see if we could show you this here a little bit. I move this. You just want to take off just a bit of the end of it. I'll get it just so you can see it. Okay. That's all I cut off right there. Really thin. It's just pretty much the wrap on it. And then that looks like that. If you cut a lot off, it'll start to unravel. You'll start getting those little flakes. So when you start to draw on it, you kind of feel it going, oh, what's that sticking out of there? It just starts to unravel a little bit. But that's it right there. You can see right there. Doesn't take a lot. Let's check the cold draw, shall we? Tickles. It's got kind of a really nice nose to it, but it does tickle. A little bit of a super dark, almost like a molasses, chocolatey kind of molasses, kind of a nose to it. My cold draw is just like a regular draw, except I take it into my lungs. Don't do it when it's fired up. Don't do that. But I kind of, and then I retrohale it. Get the taste in your mouth, kind of retrohale it out. And if I'm really picking that molasses up. Yeah. I've used quite a lot of food grade molasses, like in 30-gallon drums at a shot, when I was growing other things, all legally, every bit of it legal, for card holders and whatnot in Oregon. And I used a lot of food grade molasses because it gave it a nicer flavor. It created a better plant, and they really like it. The plants like it. So it's really got that really nice, just a little bit of bitterness to it, just like molasses. You get the food grade molasses. It's really dark. And I'm going to go dried fruit. The dried fruit I normally pick up on a cigar like this is every once in a while you get some floral notes and whatnot. I don't pick up any floral notes on this, but normally it's kind of like a not much of a sweet like fruit, like a peach or a pear or something like that. I get apricot is normally what I pick up, so that's what I'm kind of feeling on this. I'm going to smoke this about the first third, and I'm going to dip it into my whiskey. Not bad. It's a little too sweet for me, the whiskey. Okay, let's give it a toasting. This is thanks to Drew Estate. That stuff I got from had a couple of bad acid cigars, and they sent me a bunch of swag, which is pretty cool. Got the barn smoker. Kind of got that rubbery-ish feel to it, but it's good. Let's toast it. And when you're toasting, remember, just take your time. If you toast too much, I just toast till I get a little kind of a black ring around the foot. and make sure it's all the way lit. Because if you don't do that, if you don't torch it correctly or toast it correctly with the torch, that sucker will burn all kinds of wacky. So this is just a single burner torch, so it takes a little bit extra concentration. I like the 2-burner. The 3 and 4 burner torches just blow through too much propane, in my opinion. So let's do this. You're gonna take your time. Don't put the flame right on there. Kind of see how it's going like that. I kind of get it going until it starts to ash a little bit, or I can see the glow, which is much easier to do at night. But you can see the glow kind of even now. Well, you can't, but I can. Take your time. Make sure it's just all the way even. There's that black ring. That's what I strive for. Right there. You can kind of see that it's been toasted all the way around. Nice and even. It's even smoking. And let's fire it up. Oh, the single torch is kind of difficult sometimes. If I got my other lighter on me. Oh, I don't. Damn it. I got the double torch lighter that I like to light with. These are great for correcting, or on a smaller gauge cigar. Give it a shot. See right there, that's operator. See that little bit of a dip right there? Let's see if you can see it right there. That's probably going to burn a little off because I didn't toast it correctly, because I've got this single one. But my double torch, I can't find it. It's around somewhere. It's a pepper bomb. Ooh, boy. It's working already. That's on the Boz pepper scale. That's a definite 5. You see it's starting to kind of burn a little worse. So what I like to do is just take a little dab of whiskey, or your beverage. Could be coffee, water. It could be whatever you're using. And I just kind of let the little drop go on that spot. And that seems to correct it, or helps. Okay, let's do the, I don't need to, but for the sake of doing it, let's do the Boz pepper scale. See where it's at between the 0 and the 5. 0 being I'm breathing, and 5 doing what I'm doing right now. Shall we? I wouldn't do this, but I'm doing it for you guys because this is going to kick my ass. The initial retro hill is definitely a strong 5. Definitely strong 5. Subsequents are about a 3. They kind of actually smooth out on the subsequent retro hills. Make my eyes water a little bit. I'm going to correct this a little bit. Really wish I had my other lighter out here, but I don't. So actually I'm going to correct it a little bit now. And kind of see how it's burning. That I got OCD. I got obsessive cigar disorder. I like them to burn a certain way. So that's really not burning how I want it. Some people say, oh, it might correct, but it might not, and I'm wasting, a 1/4-inch cigar. So I just kind of toast that edge a little. One thing I do not like about this lighter, it's not the first time it's happened, the torch is right next to the cap. And that started to burn. You see the little flamage that was going on. I wish it was the other way. Yeah, it should be, the torch should be whatever. But this should go back more, is what I'm saying. So let's try this again without getting that burning plastic smell. It's good for fixing them or correcting them. It's not super great for lighting them. I always go because it kind of gets that ash. See right there, and you can see it's going to even out a little bit. It should burn better. Might have to dip a little whiskey on that again. Right in the gullet. Woof. That's an ass kicker. Pardon. Wow. That's the boldest smoke I've had in a while. This is got me all choked up. It's right in the gullet. Right up in there. Wow. It's got a good flavor, but it's kind of overpowered by the pepper. So I'm not really picking up many notes as of yet. Like on the cold draw, I had that molasses, a little bit of chocolatey, but mostly molasses, a little spice, and that dried apricot. There's none of that in this much so far. Wow. That's sticking to my tongue. That's pretty bold. And I got no doubt because CAO does make amazing cigars, and they got an amazing lineup. And they're usually 2 crooked thumbs up, at least 1 crooked thumbs up, mostly 2 crooked thumbs up. I'll have to see how this one's going to work out so far. It might be that, because these are limited edition, the Connecticut Broadleaf Maduro and the Brazilian Maduro double wrap, that is just making it so peppery. But I'll have to see. I'll smoke a little bit of it and get back to you. So far, it's got some heat to it too. Kind of almost like a cayenne-ish, like hot. It's interesting. So let me reflectinate a little bit, and I'll see what happens. I'll be back in a few. See if I can work this thing. Okay, I'm back. This I've had to touch it up a couple of times, and I think it's just because the way that I toasted it and lit it with a single burner torch. I've had to see there. I've had to still a little nose watering to take some whiskey. I'll show you. I've showed you this before, but just a refresher. See that little drop right there? I put it right where it's burning too much, and it'll soak in there a little bit. This I'm going to correct again without lighting this thing on fire. I just started at the low end here, work my way around. You don't want to plant it this way because then you're going to burn into the wrappers. You don't want to do that. Believe me, I've learned that the hard way. Because I'm OCD, obsessive cigar disorder, or OCBD, obsessive cigar burning disorder. You kind of see, it's going to kind of even that up a little bit. Puts a little whoopty in the ash. I will say, just an inch into it, the pepper really subsided. I was getting a little worried about that, and because it was not the pepper wasn't loosening up. So Let's try it now. It has subsided. Let's see what it is on the Boss Pepper scale. Remember, initial was a 5, a strong 5, and it went down to a 3. Let's see what it is now, this far into it. Wow. Got to do that again because this is really shocking me. Shocking. I always take like a little puff. Anyone else do that? Take that little puff just to make sure it's, you're not wasting a draw on a cigar. You take that little puff. Okay, it's still lit. I do it like all the time. No more gullet. It's maybe a 1. Subsequent retrohales, 0 on the Boss Pepper scale. That is impressive. So I think the first inch is this is my opinion, is probably meant to get your friggin' attention. I'm like, wow, damn. Just to make you see if you're a serious cigar smoker like you and I are. Let's see if they can get past that first inch, that first 3/4 of an inch. They're a cigar smoker. I had my doubts. Bottom line and honest. Think, damn, if it's that way the whole way through, I'm gonna have to dip it. I would have, if it was still peppery now, I'd dip it about right here. Because when you dip a cigar, which I'll do here in a bit, it really, really cools that pepper down because it's going through a liquid, whatever you dip it in. And I've dipped it cigars in wine, beer, scotch, whiskey, pretty much any beverage with alcohol in it. But I've also done it in water, or the water just water actually kind of increased just the tobacco taste. You didn't really pick up any notes because it didn't mix with, like scotch, great scotch, good whiskey, good beer. It's got all those hops, and it's got the grains, and it's got the barley, and it's got all these cool things mixed up in it, and the heat and the tobacco picks all that up. That's why I like to dip it in what I dip it in. Wow. I like the Robusto because it's not like an hour and a half cigar. I'm into this about 25 minutes, so it's going to be an hour stick. But once I'm not doing the video, I tend to draw more. So it's going to be, 45-minute stick, which is great. Price point on these is anywhere from, I got it in a kind of a bundle kind of a thing. Going to be about the $8 to $10 range. I'm assuming, depending on where you live and depending on taxes and stuff like that. 8 on the low end, 10 on the high end. But for a good 45-minute smoke, it's good. And like I said, CAO really makes a fantastic product. That change up that quick. I think it was just meant to get your attention. Are you a serious cigar smoker? Or do you have the things to smoke this cigar? And why, yes, I do. And yes, you do. Men and women. It's just a term, So, yeah, we do. And you get past that, and damn, good smoke. That food grade molasses. Now, the food grade molasses is what companies use to kind of mix in things. It's really thick, really, really dark, and very kind of a bittery molasses, but I love it. I'm not picking up any of the dried fruit. It's barn-ish. It's earthy-ish. It's not that big dark soil you just want to roll around in. Don't judge me. And I'm not picking up many other notes at this point. But I have no doubt that the CAO MX2 is going to have those notes. So like I said, CAO makes great sticks. So I'm going to dip this. I'll show you what I do, and I'm going to let it sit for about 5 minutes. That's the best way, in my opinion. I'm just going to put just the cap of that in this for, if this was super peppery still, I'd let it sit for about 10 seconds. This I'm going to do about 5 seconds. Let's show you what I do here, if you can see it. Just barely put that cap in there just to where it touches. Drip off and then blow through it for about 10 seconds. You can see how wet that is. You can see it's still kind of damp, but it's not really super wet like it was. It actually blows it in there a little bit. That's my opinion. Yeah, it makes sense, right? It's like a straw. You blow it, it moves. Anyway, it's just like a really good straw. And plus, if you dip it too deep, I did that on one of my $2 sticks yesterday, and it really, but it was a short fill also. Be careful when dipping a short fill cigar. They will get mushy on the end. Now, I wasn't paying attention, and I dipped it in about that far, about to the end of that second cap right there, and it did get mushy. And you can't dry them out because they're short fill. It doesn't blow through very well. On a long fill cigar, it does. Because this is still hard. It's not getting mushy or anything. There's no soft spots in it. Now, right towards here, it's getting soft. Oops, right in here. But that's just from the heat. Look at a cigar when you're smoking it. It kind of starts to expand right there. You can kind of see it. And that's from just the heat, and things are kind of relaxing. It's like water molecules. When they're hot, they expand. When they're cold, they contract. In air, same way. Actually, what? You guys are getting buzzy. Hey, there's Hottie. Like water, when you freeze it, it expands. Okay, let's get that straight. Took me a second. But with air, it's a different. It gets hot, it expands. Cold, it contracts. Water does the opposite. I don't know what I'm talking about. About 27 minutes now. So I'm just going to cut this real short. I'm going to get to about the final third, and I'll touch base with you. I'm picking up the whiskey notes now. Really picking up. It's a little bit of a floweriness, a sweetness, more of a the apricot is back. The dried fruit, a little bit of a sweetness. Just really good. This is a great cigar to dip with. The CAO MX2, great cigar to dip. I'm excited to see what the rest of this brings, and I'll be back. Just a quick little update. It started kind of burning off. You can see that hole right there. I've got I'll show you, hang on. Got a little bit of a kind of a small screwdriver that I use for my pipe. I kind of tamp it down with that, kind of clean it with that end. This, actually, that hole, it goes down there a little ways. You can see, I'm not pushing it in there. It's a good, wow, I'm not even pushing it. It's got a decent, about a half-inch straight hole in there. Isn't anything about the cigar. This is quality. It's just that there was something in there It didn't burn right. See how it's off to that side? See where it's at? Look at that. That's where the burn's off. If your burn is really off, kind of knock your ashes off. I just kind of take something like this. I'll just kind of knock the ashes off a little bit, the soft. You don't want to damage the wrapper. And that showed up. Every cigar, I have never had a cigar that didn't do that at some point. Or, okay, I got to rephrase that. Every cigar that I've ever tried, because I tried multiple of them, usually something like that happens. It's just an issue with wrapping cigars. They're done by hand. But you can see that hole in there. Look at that.
What's that from?
It's just, yeah, what's that from? How do you ask? It's just the way it was rolled. There was just an empty area, a pocket of air in there, which is affecting the burn. It's probably going to continue to affect it because it's thinner right there. It's thinner, so it's going to burn faster. So what I'm going to do, once again, just take a little bit of whiskey or your beverage, kind of dip it on there like that. So you see that drop right there. Dip right on that, and then it will burn a little slower. Then I blow through it to kind of get it hot again. It's done really well. I took one thing about dipping, especially if you dip it too long. On a cigar that's packed really tightly like this one, except for that hole right there, it'll swell the tobacco. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes it'll make it hard to draw through. So I cut about another 1/16 of an inch off. I didn't go below that bottom cap, the wrapper on it, but I had to loosen it up. Or sometimes I just kind of roll it back and forth to kind of loosen it up a little bit. Because it's going to be soft anyway from putting it in your mouth, so it loosens it up. But I just do this. Gently tap those ashes off. You can still see that hole in there. And it's affecting the burn, it's affecting the light. Now that goes in there a little ways. You're going to find it in just about any cigar from time to time. Not very often, especially in the CAO. They got great cigars. There we go. So it's 33 minutes. I'm going to cut this off. We'll see how this burns. I'll let you know. I'll give it one crooked thumbs up. Can't do two just because the quality wasn't there. But bottom line and honest. But the notes have really picked up. The flavor's picked up. There's no pepper. Thanks to CAO, right there. MX2. Duncan Elite Automotive and Transmissions here in Youngsville, North Carolina. They did the training on my truck. Worked on Hottie's Mercedes. And fantastic people. Fantastic people. Check them out. And as always, I will be back. I hope this was a decent review for you. I'm just really kind of worried about that. So, as always, have a great week. Be nice to each other. Duncan Elite, CAO MX2. And I'm out of here. I forgot. I'm going to have a rant later. Some things pissing me off. So look forward to that. Now, I'm out of here.